The history of Donald Trump businesses and how he became billionaire. People see Donald Trump as a billionaire, a reality TV star, and the president. But what most don't know is the untold story behind how he built his fortune. Was it pure business genius, a lucky inheritance, or something else entirely? His rise to wealth is filled with twists, big risks, and a few controversies that might surprise you. And what about the setbacks? Those moments when everything seemed on the edge of collapse. Let's uncover the real truth. It's not as straightforward as you might think. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the fascinating lives of influential figures. The Trump family legacy. Early foundations of wealth. Donald Trump's journey to wealth didn't start with him. It goes back generations. To really understand how Trump became who he is today, we have to go back over a century and start with his grandfather, Frederick Trump. Now, Frederick was no ordinary man. In the late 1800s, he caught the entrepreneurial bug and headed to the Klondike Gold Rush in Canada. But he wasn't there to dig for gold. No, Frederick Trump saw an opportunity in the hungry, tired miners. Instead of chasing gold, he opened hotels and restaurants that catered to these fortune seekers. Smart move, right? It's said that by the time the gold rush faded, Frederick had amassed a small fortune. Fast forward to the next generation, Frederick's son, Fred Trump. Now, Fred took his father's knack for business and ran with it. After Frederick's early death, Fred joined his mother to keep the Trump business alive, but he wasn't satisfied with just running hotels. In the 1930s, Fred found his sweet spot in middle-income housing. He built affordable homes for working-class families in Queens and Brooklyn, capitalizing on the demand for suburban-style living. But here's where Fred's genius really shines. During World War II, Fred secured lucrative government contracts to build housing for soldiers, and later, even post-war developments. This wasn't just luck. It was Fred's business savvy that landed him these deals. By the 1950s, he was a major player in New York real estate, and in 1949, he struck gold again when he received a $10.3 million government loan to build the Shore Haven Apartments in Brooklyn. Fred Trump's developments weren't just profitable, they were massive. At the time of his death in 1999, Fred was reportedly worth between $250 million and $300 million. It's clear that Fred Trump's ability to see opportunities in real estate, from supermarkets to government projects, laid the very foundation for the Trump empire we know today. Donald Trump's early business ventures, Manhattan ambitions. Everyone's heard it. The famous small loan Donald Trump claims he got from his father to kickstart his real estate empire. Just $1 million, right? Well, it's a little more complicated than that. Yes, in the early 1970s, Donald Trump received a $1 million loan from his father, Fred Trump, to break into the Manhattan real estate scene. But that's just one part of the story. What many don't know is that Donald had access to multiple loans, inheritances, and family assets that helped him make his first big moves. So, it wasn't quite as small as he likes to say. Now, let's talk about one of his early game-changing deals, the renovation of the Commodore Hotel. In 1976, Donald saw potential in the crumbling hotel near Grand Central Station. The neighborhood was in rough shape, but Trump had a vision. He partnered with Hyatt Hotels to buy the rundown property and transform it into the Grand Hyatt, a luxury hotel that could redefine the area. But here's the real genius behind this deal. Trump didn't just build the hotel, he mastered the art of negotiation. He managed to secure a 40-year tax abatement from the city of New York, which saved him millions and made the project financially viable. On top of that, he negotiated favorable loans from banks, using his father's creditworthiness to back the deal. When the Grand Hyatt opened in 1980, it was a massive success, both financially and for Trump's reputation. He sold his stake in the hotel in 1996 for a staggering $142 million. This wasn't just about turning a profit. It was the moment Trump established himself as a major player in Manhattan's luxury real estate market. Donald Trump wasn't just buying buildings, he was building a brand, one that would soon become synonymous with luxury, ambition, and larger-than-life projects. Trump's casino empire and financial turmoil. In the 1980s, Donald Trump wasn't just focused on skyscrapers. He had his sights set on something much flashier: casinos. Atlantic City was booming, and Trump wanted in on the action. His first big move? Acquiring the Trump Plaza in 1984, a luxury casino that would be his first step into the gaming world. Then came Trump Castle, and, in 1990, his crown jewel, the Taj Mahal. At the time, the Taj Mahal was the largest and most expensive casino ever built, costing a staggering $1 billion. But here's where things started to unravel. To fund these ambitious projects, Trump relied heavily on junk bonds, high-risk loans with high interest rates. While it seemed like a bold strategy, it quickly turned into a financial disaster. The Taj Mahal alone was buried under $3 billion in debt just a year after opening, and Trump's casino empire began to crumble. Facing mounting pressure, Trump narrowly avoided personal bankruptcy by selling off major assets. He let go of his 282-foot yacht, his Trump Shuttle airline, and even cut his stake in his own company. Despite these moves, his casino businesses weren't able to escape financial collapse. Over the next decade, Trump Plaza and Trump Castle would follow the Taj Mahal into bankruptcy, with the holding company filing multiple times to restructure its debt. Trump's Atlantic City ventures, once symbols of daring ambition, ultimately became some of his biggest financial failures. His aggressive expansion, paired with risky financing, left a trail of debt that nearly sank his entire empire. Branding beyond real estate, expanding the Trump empire. When you hear the name Trump, you probably think of towering skyscrapers and glitzy hotels. But Donald Trump didn't just stick to real estate. He tried to build an empire that stretched far beyond it. Throughout the years, Trump attached his name to a wide range of businesses. Trump Airlines was one of his early ventures in 1989, an attempt to turn an airline into a luxurious flying experience. But after struggling to turn a profit, it was sold within just 3 years. Then there was Trump Vodka, launched with the slogan, "Success Distilled." While it sounded glamorous, it failed to gain traction and was pulled from shelves after a few years. Trump University? That was meant to teach students the secrets of success in real estate, but instead, it ended in lawsuits, controversy, and a $25 million settlement. Not to forget Trump steaks, which, believe it or not, were sold through the Sharper Image, a product that quickly fizzled out. Despite these failures, Trump's relentless drive to expand his brand was undeniable. He learned valuable lessons, particularly the risks of relying too much on name recognition alone. Some projects just couldn't live up to the luxury image his name had built. But that's the interesting part. Even when these ventures failed, the Trump brand never fully lost its aura. Trump's properties, like the iconic Trump Tower in Manhattan, and his international projects, such as the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C., continued to symbolize luxury. His name, plastered on buildings around the world, became a status symbol in its own right, a symbol of high-end living, even as some of his businesses crumbled. The Apprentice and media influence, rebuilding the Trump brand. In the early 2000s, Donald Trump's business empire had taken some heavy hits, with failed ventures and financial troubles. But then came a game changer, The Apprentice. In 2004, Trump became the host and executive producer of this hit reality TV show, and it was nothing short of a turning point for him. The show wasn't just a success, it was a phenomenon. Each week, millions of viewers tuned in to watch Trump say those famous words, "You're fired." But here's where it gets interesting. The Apprentice didn't just entertain, it helped reshape Trump's image. Suddenly, Trump was no longer just a businessman. He was the face of success, a symbol of power and authority. The show portrayed him as a savvy dealmaker, someone with a golden touch in business. And, financially, it was huge. Trump earned a staggering $1 million per episode, with 185 episodes in total. That's a serious paycheck. What makes The Apprentice so pivotal is how it gave Trump a second wind. After years of financial struggles, the show put him back in the spotlight, but this time as a household name. Trump leveraged this media exposure for everything it was worth, using it to rebuild his brand. His fame skyrocketed, and it didn't just boost his personal wealth. It opened doors for future opportunities, including his eventual run for president. This is the power of media influence. Trump understood it, and he used it to his advantage. The Apprentice kept his name relevant, not just in America, but across the globe. The show revived his empire, and it became the platform from which he would launch his next big ventures. If you found this story of Donald Trump's rise through media interesting, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the fascinating lives of influential figures. Don't miss out on the next part of the story.